Hi, this is Blind Disney, and today I am taking you on a boat tour on the Charleston Harbor. And if you are new here, please be sure to hit that like button and hit that red subscribe button right below the video. Also, I forgot to film a proper intro before we came on, so now that's the proper intro. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Is it wet up there?
It's also been a bank post office and during World War II, this was Coast Guard station. Today it's a museum. You can go by and check that out. If you do, look in the basement, you'll see a section of the original wall that was surrounding Charleston. Charleston was one of the many walled cities in North America. St. Augustine in Florida, and Quebec City in Canada, two other well-known places. Alright guys, working to the right as we slide along here towards the end of the peninsula. This is the seawall with all the grand homes. And that is known as Battery Road. These were built by merchants, planters, and sea captains. Next to Battery Road, the canopy of live oaks and white gardens. And that was made by the early settlers because the oyster beds, which are visible at low tide, were split. And this is also known as Battery Park, and it was simply the Battery. Alright folks, as we make our lap around the harbor here, we'll be asking some trivia questions. If you're the first person to the bar with the correct answer to the trivia question, that'll get you a free $1 beverage or snack. Alright, Charleston does have a great deal of history, and one part that people don't often think about is pirates. And piracy was an important part of Charleston's history from 1690 to 1720. Residents of Charlestown tolerated them because they brought much needed goods that they could get cheaper from the pirates than they could buy legally. Unfortunately, some pirates caused trouble or would take more than they brought, as did Blackbeard, who was here in 1718. When the pirates were captured, their fate frequently ended here. In 1717, Chutes Folly Island became a traditional site for hanging pirates. That is Chutes Folly Island, right there on our left, and the name of that port, Fort Castle Pinckney, and we'll touch on that on the way back up on the north of the lake on the other side of the river. As a deterrent to other pirates, they would be left hanging for a week or two, and when they were cut down, they were taken to the edge of the water at low tide, placed face first down in the sand and the mud, and that created an additional deterrent for piracy, as the pirates felt like their souls would exit their bodies going in the wrong direction. And another place where pirates would meet their fate was over here, right up there in White Point Gardens. On the northeast corner, there's a 6-foot tall granite marker placed near where a number of pirates also met their fate, including the local pirates, Steve Bonnet and his crew of 29. Bonnet, known as the Gentleman Pirate, came from the island of Barbados, a good family. He was well educated and also wealthy. Unlike other pirates who stole their ships, Steve Bonnet actually purchased his pirate ship. So that does bring us to our first trivia question, pirate related of course. First person to the bar with the correct answer gets a free non-alcoholic beverage or snack. And that question is, what was Blackbeard's real name? Blackbeard's real name.
Hey, Isaac, ask Bill if they got water up there. Water.
What did you tell Isaac?
Alright guys, Johnny made it to the bar with the correct answer. Edward Teach was Blackbeard's real name. Edward Thatch is also acceptable.
Anybody else got anything?
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
You guys want anything? Tyler, you need something?
Did you get some popcorn?
And you can see down here behind us. Let me come all the way down here. Hey, Bill. Right over here. Okay.
I appreciate it. You don't have to have that photographer.
No, it's fine. It's got a different view.
I'll work on this when I get back home. There's a bunch of different clips.
You can put it down here at the end or you can put it there.
This is a good size.
Tyler, what do you want on your hot dog, buddy?
And batteries in the harbor, except for the Union Control Port Sumter. It was on Friday,
Can't see it?
12/18/61. At 4:30 a.m., a signal mortar was fired from Fort Johnson, alerting the surrounding Southern Control ports and batteries to commence bombardment of Fort Sumter. The only historic structure remaining at Fort Johnson is a private magazine dated to around 1820. And continuing to look to the right there, as soon as we jump out from behind that little outcrop in the trees, is the Morris Island Lighthouse. And since 1673, there has been a navigational aid at that location. The first was a raised metal pan filled with pitch and settle fire. The first actual lighthouse was built in 1767. It was 42 feet high, and that was replaced in 1837 with a lighthouse that was 102 feet high. That was destroyed in 1862 by Confederate troops who were concerned that they wanted to capture the lighthouse and use it as an observation post. The current lighthouse was built in 1876 and it is 161 feet tall. It's no longer in use, but when originally built it was 140 mile inland. And due to coastal erosion, it is now on a sandbar 140 miles out into the Atlantic Ocean. The Morris Island Lighthouse was 80% complete. And then South Carolina seceded, and the militia took control of all the harbor ports except for the Union-controlled Fort Sumter. This made for a dilemma for newly elected President Lincoln. If he withdrew the federal troops, it would acknowledge the end of the Union. President Jefferson Davis of the South also had a dilemma. If he ordered an attack, he would be a warmonger. And by 1861, the supplies were drastically low, and in January of that year, the vessel Star of the West approached in an attempt to resupply the port. They were fired upon by a battery of cannon on Morris Island, manned by cadets from the Citadel. Being unarmed and unescorted, the ship turned back. Still needing supplies, and Lincoln wanted to put pressure on the South. On April 8th, supply ships were dispatched from New York, and this time with a naval escort. And they were expected to arrive by April 15th. The Confederates couldn't allow the fort to be resupplied, so the decision was made. As mentioned before, a signal mortar was fired from Fort Johnson over Fort Sumter, April 12, 1861 at 4:30 a.m. By 5 a.m., more than 40 cannons were firing on Sumter, and the attack continued for 34 hours. Due to the lack of supplies in the interior of the fort almost completely destroyed, the commanding officer, Major Robert Anderson, decided to surrender the fort. And on the afternoon of April 13, the stars and stripes were lowered and the white flag of surrender was raised. Major Anderson left Fort Sumter on April 14 with a 100-gun salute to the American flag. And while there were no Union fatalities during the engagement, midway through the 100-gun salute, one Union soldier was killed when a charge prematurely exploded. Private Daniel Hogue has the distinction of being the first casualty of the Civil War. He, however, does not have the distinction of having been buried on the parade grounds out here at Fort Sumter, though many will tell you he was. Later in the war, April 7, 1863, the Union Navy attempted to sail into the harbor with 9 ironclads to attack Charleston. They were fired upon by cannons in Fort Sumter and forced to turn back. Then on July 10, 1863, Union forces occupied the southern half and were placed out here for the defense of the coastline. And those light-colored squares you see down low, those are the original cannon ports that have been bricked in. At one time, there were 3 levels of those cannon ports, and you may have seen them in renderings or pictures of the fort during that famous battle. Fort Sumter became a national monument in 1948, and currently it is a national park. And as such, you can certainly visit this. We'll show you the National Park Service building on the way back in, and there you can procure your passage on one of the latest Spirit Lines vessels, Spirit of Low Country, over there right now. They'll be happy to take you out to see the fort. All right, guys, so we're going to make a turn here, and we're head across the river for Sullivan's Island.
I did it too, but I
See the green buoy? That means if you're coming back in, you keep the red buoy on the right. And the green buoy on the left. Red, right,
so I know, that's what it is.
Very, very wavy.
Is this Sullivan's Island?
That's 53 years.
Sullivan's Island? That's Sullivan? No, it was, kind of silly to do that at the start.
It's kind of silly. What, Bill? What'd you say?
The Hurricane Hugo passed over Sullivan Valley. Waving.
Guys, over on the right-hand side, that is the Sullivan's Island Lighthouse, also known as Charleston. That did face the Illinois Island Lighthouse, and it is 163 feet high. It is fully automated and has the distinction of being the last lighthouse built by the Coast Guard. Ownership was transferred to the National Park Service in June of 2008, and it is active.
Is that good?
Hey, our life depends on it. These are good. Oh, incomplete fusion.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, over on on the right-hand side there, just to the right of that little sandbar, you'll see the entrance to Shem Creek, and it's bracketed by some shrimp trawlers. There is one on the way in as we speak right now. And on the other side of those trawlers, on the north bank,
Oh, no. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Oh, heck no.
You don't like me, And they do have many great restaurants in there, supplied with very fresh shrimp, as you might imagine, all the shrimp trawlers there. And so some good food and some great waterfront ambiance. Shem Creek, go to the Ravenel Bridge, stay to the right, take Coleman Boulevard, follow your nose show. And of course, our own Carolina Belle was featured in season 1, episode 4, as the ferry to Chapel Hill. And of course, if you've been to Chapel Hill, you're geographically literate.
Landlocked Chapel Hill.
Just look at Chapel Hill on the map, you know that's not happening. But it's TV, and they're all about making things that can happen. And that's why we watch it, right? All right, folks, this is a great time also to, at least as tall, if not a little bit taller, but actually it's more than 30 feet shorter. It just happens to be a lot closer to us than the steeple at St. Matthew's.
Isaac, what's the peanut? Good for you. Oh, I made a mistake, y'all. Not that we're keeping track, but that's not the first one. Number 10, aircraft carrier, York
All right, ladies and gentlemen, over on our left-hand side, once again, this is Chutes Folly Island, and the name of that port, Port Castle Pinckney, also known as the South's most disappointing port. Now, it didn't fail at anything, it just never really had the opportunity to participate. By the time things were going on, it was obsolete in the fact that there was Fort Moultrie, Fort Sumter, and also Fort Johnson in the battery as well. Now, after the Battle of Bull Run, 150 plus Union prisoners were brought down here to Charleston, and they were allowed to finish out the Civil War on their own private island in the harbor.
Fort Disappointment, he said.
Wow, your mom would be in heaven. All this hippie music. Gross.
All the what?
Hippie music. Stove was made at Bath Iron Works.
Character out as well. And in front of her is the destroyer, USS Laffey. DD-724, built Bath Iron Works in Bath, Maine.
She escorted Chuck during the Normandy invasion.
1944. Decommissioned on March 29, 1975. She bombed at Utah Beach at the D-Day and was
Bombarded gun
repositioned in the
emplacement.
Pacific on April 16, 1945 while supporting the invasion of Okinawa. Took 3 bombs and 5 kamikaze hits from an attack of an estimated 50 Japanese airplanes. Her valiant crew brought it back to port, and she deservedly earned the nickname of the ship that wouldn't die. She earned a presidential unit citation and 5 double stars in World War II and 2.
My Apple Watch, I can feel it cooking in the sun.
And of course, we do have the big ship over here, the USS North Water, up to 30 knots, carried a crew complement of 2,600 men and also 90 aircraft. She was modified in the 1950s for jet aircraft, earned a presidential unit citation and 11 battle stars in World War II, and 5 battle stars in Vietnam. She's not the original carrier of Yorktown. That was CV-5, and CV-5 was sunk at the Battle of Midway, June 7, 1942. CV-10 was commissioned at Yorktown in honor of CV-5 and the men who served aboard her. She was also used in the classic war movie Tora Tora Tora, and dedicated here at Patriots Point as a museum in 1975. Now, if you're my age or thereabouts, you may recall she was also involved in the recovery of Space Mission Apollo 8. That was October 16, 1968, the mission when men first orbited the moon. All right, folks.
Hey, Tyler, there's a Tomcat on this carrier. Cool to see the Tomcat. So Tyler, there's an aircraft carrier sitting over there. It has the airplane that Maverick used to fly, the F-14, and it has the aircraft that he flies now, the F-18.
Oh, really?
That's what Mike Galdera, John's brother Mike, flies, is the F-18.
Oh, really?
Jet jockey. He told me one time. Yeah.
Recording. He's recording.
Yeah. I put all the way, put all the way in.
Good?
Now we're in the shade. You can feel the shade. It got cooler.
Is that good?
Yeah. No, you gotta go up. Now it's in view.
All right, guys, everything is lining up nicely. Here comes the horn. In 3, 2, 1. Going. We're having a few windows in Columbia on that one.
I hope you got that on your video, buddy.
Did.
Nice being under there. Break from the sun.
All right, let me know when to put it back down.
Back in the sun.
All right, I'll put it down.
If you angle it behind you, it'll be your best view.
Ah, there we go.
No, back. Yes. Perfect.
That's his nickname. We'll cover all of them.
Is that good?
Now we just have to find a place called Big Eyes.
Well, I thought that was pretty incredible, and I will definitely for sure edit this later, probably premiere it, so I will see you guys next time. Bye.